It's going to take time and it's probably not going to work.
Bam.
And
my gosh.
If you can get cool with that, with the idea that it's going to take a lot of time, years, right? Years. And it's probably not going to work. If you can laugh at that statement, then you're probably going to make it.
On the 37th episode of Passion in Progress, YouTuber Cody Wanner. January 1st, 2018 marks the day that Cody Wanner started daily vlogging. By the time May rolled around, he started the hashtag and the movement nosmallcreator. From there, he got featured on a vlog by Peter McKinnon. That put him on a map, and other creators began to see the amount of hustle and effort that he was doing to encourage people to start doing stuff, encouraging the doers. By July, YouTube had given them the title Creator on the Rise. And since then, he's grown exponentially. I can't wait for you guys to hear this episode because we get into the whole movement that he started with No Small Creator. We also talk about what it is to be a creator on YouTube and the time commitment between family and what you want to do to grow your following. And I think of a lot of the people that I draw inspiration from on YouTube, and Cody strikes me as one of the most authentic individuals on the platform. With that being said, I would love for you to share out this podcast with a friend if you dig it, if you get value from it. If you want to tag me in anything that you share on social, I'm at Javier Mercedes X. That's Javier Mercedes X. Also, you can support me and the content that I create on Patreon. That's www.patreon.com/Javier Mercedes. And one last note, if you are consuming this content via audio on the iTunes app, please would you write me a review? That helps me grow in the algorithm within iTunes, and it gives me feedback to know how well I'm doing with this podcast. Without further ado, let's dive into the 37th episode of Passion in Progress with YouTuber Cody Wanner. What is up, Merc Nation? Javier Mercedes here for yet again another Passion in Progress show, where we talk to inspiring individuals, and hopefully through hearing their stories, you too are motivated to go out and pursue your passions. The person in front of me is a living representation of that in my own YouTube career. I think the amount of people that your videos and everything inspire to create has such a butterfly effect. Guy's name is Cody Wanner. How's it going?
What's up, dude? Thanks so much for having me on.
For the small audience that doesn't know, can you explain what No Small Creator is?
Sure. No Small Creator is a movement and a mindset. Maybe a mindset first, then a movement second. Its roots are in the idea. You got to understand where it came from, because it really doesn't make sense if you don't know what the culture was before we created it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So before we created it, constantly on YouTube, you would hear these bigger channels and YouTube itself talking about, well, the small creators are doing this, and this is how the small creators feel, and the small creators this, and the small creators that. And it became the name, small creator became the name for a channel with less than some amount of subscribers. I don't know what the amount was, but it was just like there's some sort of line in the sand, and there's small creators. And, by default, then there's big creators and massive creators and all that sort of thing. So I just really chatted against that. I thought that that's ridiculous. There's nothing small about creation. We're all taking something from inside our own heads and putting it out into the world. On YouTube, we're doing it in video form, but you can do it in many other ways. Creation, taking a painting from inside your head, taking a photo, seeing a photo with your eyes, telling a camera how to capture it the way you want it to be captured, and then making a picture. That's a massive thing. That's huge. So that's where No Small Creator was born. It was just this idea that there's no such thing as a small creator. By extension, there's no such thing as a big creator, a massive creator. Creation itself is just a massive thing. And that's that. There's creators and there's non-creators. Arguably, there's no non-creators. Anyway. I really had a problem with it, and that's why I kind of started talking about no small creator. There's no such thing as a small creator, and then made a hashtag from it, and then the movement was born out of that. It's currently a Facebook group, hashtag on Twitter, hashtag on Instagram, hashtag on YouTube, but the Facebook group has about 3,000 people in it. The only thing you need to do in order to be a part of the movement is believe that there's no small creator. It's like fairies, it's like you got to believe in fairies. You got to believe that there's no such thing as a small creator, and and that makes you a part of it, you can use the hashtag, you can use it to your benefit.
All right. So just another thing on top of that too, just to give audience more the background of you.
Yeah.
You were a daily vlogger for a full year. And I feel like I'm catching you at a great time because you're just off the high of doing daily vlogging. Can you explain a daily vlog and all that kind of stuff?
This is my first podcast since no longer being a daily vlogger. Yeah. Seriously, this is my first one that I've recorded. So what is today's date? Like the 20th? Mm-hmm. So yeah, 20 days, I have not made a video every single day. I've made, I think, 6 videos in the last 20 days, but for in the entire year of 2018, I made at least one video every single day. I called it a vlog. You can call it whatever you want to call it. It was a video shot in a vlog style, which in my mind just means I was making it myself. I didn't have a crew of people around me. In large part, they were topical. Sometimes they were kind of just documenting what was going on in my life. Sometimes they were trying to drive home a certain point. Sometimes it was travel. A vlog is just whatever you want it to be. That's what it was. I made one of those videos every single day for all of 2018. Yeah,
I think of all the creators that I see, you have such a pulse on what it is to be a YouTube creator and what it is that succeeds and what to look for in videos and all that other stuff, because you do consulting as well. Mm-hmm. With daily vlogging.
Yeah.
And somebody just made a video about this, saying that like Peter is wrong in his opinion on done is better than perfect. Yeah. And I watched it, I was like, whoa, it has the concept, but how does your ability as a storyteller, as a creator, compound over that 365-day period to now you're doing 2 videos a week?
Yeah. Quote unquote. Yeah.
How does that compound over a year? Mm-hmm. And when you go to make a video now, what's your thought process?
I think when in terms of done is better than perfect, or in terms of, is daily creation worth it? There's a bunch of different ways and angles to look at that. From a personal growth perspective, which is what I feel like you're mostly asking, it's 100% worth it. I think you could argue from the audience value perspective, sometimes it's not worth it to watch a daily vlogger's vlog, right? Because like we know, there's days when nothing really happens, and then when you get enough. So for me, when I was daily vlogging and nothing was going to happen that day, I would generally try to create something. I would try to like think of an idea, maybe go out and shoot that thing, some sort of footage that would drive home whatever that topic was, right? But when you have a bunch of those days in a row, eventually your ability to create something new and valuable and novel and worth watching, like it deteriorates over time, unless and then generally something would happen where, I would fly somewhere, I'd go somewhere, something new would happen that I could kind of start documenting that process again. And that kind of refreshes the value in it because you're seeing someone document a thing. I'm getting off track just talking about audience.
But I think it's a legit thing. Like, especially coming here, like, oh, I can vlog this because it's like, I know this is interesting and I know I want to document the process. But right. Continue.
But so just case in point, what you just said there, because I have a year of experience of documenting a thing, now when a thing happens, I'm like, bam, camera, I'm telling the story. I know exactly how to sculpt a narrative, to sculpt something compelling and interesting out of my own life, right? And so that's where I think daily creation really shines, is because I did it every single day, day after day after day, I was watching, editing, and uploading something that, because I'm a perfectionist, because I'm in pursuit of the highest quality stuff that I can make, I would never love, I would never even like, I would often not even like the stuff that I was making. And to do that to yourself, like forces progress, forces quality improvements, And so for me, it's night and day. For me, when I watch one of my first vlogs compared to something that I make now, it's a huge transformation in my own skill and ability and storytelling ability and that sort of thing. So for my own personal growth, I take it back to I think this has really happened. I think this was a real thing, which was there was this pottery class, and the teacher said to half of the class, in a month, I want you to make a pot, right? And the half of the class, you just spend the whole month just working on that pot, just like make the best pot you can possibly make, take a whole month to make it. And then the other half of the class, he's like, you all need to make a new pot every single day. And at the end of the month, the people who had to make a new pot every single day, the pot that they put forth for their finished product pot versus the ones who worked on it, the same thing for the whole month, theirs was horrible. The people who were doing it daily had amazing stuff because they fine-tuned, they built that skill. And I think of it in the same exact way as making daily videos on YouTube. When you do it at the end of the time period, you're going to grow leaps and bounds in your ability to just make any single video.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Jeff Barch, who also used that example.
Yeah,
with
Jeff.
Story Greenlight.
Yeah, Story Greenlight. I mean, and he's a great example of how long has he been editing? Like 17 years or something like that in Hollywood and TV shows. He's been on so many different things, and it's just the grind of it. The grind of it creates something very well polished.
So at this point in time, after everything's said and done, like today, when you wake up, what's your thought process in terms of, am I creating a video today? Like, I will say for the audience that doesn't know, I'm assuming most of the people that watch this will have some context of who you are.
Not in 60 years, though. In 60 years, they'll be like, who is this guy? So we just got to tell them it all like it's brand new.
But the business side of your, what you do is content-wise, because the way that you do your content is also like, hey, how can we treat this as a business as well? Is the momentum and everything that you're shifting towards, which I think it was anyway, like more business oriented and things of that nature? Or when you get up this morning, what are you thinking about creation wise?
It's a great question, and I'm still in the transitional phase of like figuring out how to think now.
Why'd you switch to 2?
I switched to 2 for a couple different reasons. One was I strongly feel that right now the current culture on YouTube, YouTube, the company, is much more willing to show and help a video gain momentum if it's not followed up by an immediate other video and an immediate other video.
It's funny because I can see my analytics and it's kind of true.
Right. Yeah. So, and it's true for my analytics too. At the end of my year, and also it was December, so like you never know. Nobody ever knows about any of this stuff. Probably most employees at YouTube don't know about this stuff. But at the end of my year, for whatever reason, I was growing by about 8 to 10 max subscribers a day. And this is all public information. You can go on Social Blade and see every single day how many subscribers I gain, right? So at the end of the year, I was growing about 8 to 10 subscribers per day when I was daily vlogging. And since I've stopped daily vlogging, my average is more like 40 subscribers per day that I'm growing.
I think you shared a tweet that like the first 3 days were like astronomical.
Yeah,
and the
I got
views
like
that you got
150 in the first 3 days. And yeah, that video, that was my last daily video, got at the time 4 times the amount of views than like a normal daily video would get, 3 to 4 times the amount of views. I think that's a big reason. Couple that with just feeling incredibly exhausted by the grind of like trying to make something quality every single day, and that takes a toll on sleep and health and all of that sort of thing, I think. And then couple that with a sincere, like a very real feeling of, am I just wasting everybody's time because I'm trying to pump out something quality every day? And like I said before, when I'm not documenting something and I'm just trying to do a quality new topical vlog or video every single day, the quality deteriorates over time. At least it did in my case. So, I respect everybody's time, and there's people who follow me very loyally and will watch every single video that I drop. There's probably 1,000 people who will watch every single video that I drop. So like, is it responsible of me as a person who's thinking about other people to be dropping stuff that I feel like is not worth their time to take 6 to 10 minutes out of their day when they could be doing something else? So it goes both ways. A lot of those people and other people say, yeah, but like you're encouraging, you're helping us, you're part of our daily routine. Like it can go both ways, right?
Yeah.
But that was my conviction. And so much of YouTube is about how do you feel? Like, what do you need to do for you as your own self and person who's expressing something out into the world? What's right, for you. And for me, I got to the point near the end of the year, probably end of October or beginning of November, where I just felt like I can't be taking up people's time. If my whole channel is designed to encourage people to do stuff, I can't let my desire to make daily videos and get daily views hinder other people doing stuff,
Yeah.
So that's how I think about it. Not saying I won't switch back. I might switch back tomorrow. Who knows?
And podcast. Personally, I would like, after watching your content, mine was kind of the latter, where I was like, I get it. Like, I'm going to go do stuff now.
Yeah.
And like just to keep creating, the amount of YouTube that I watch is like, it keeps locking down less.
Right.
But I have no idea how you do it, because it's not just YouTube. You are omnipresent throughout all social platforms.
Yeah.
I don't like, how do you, I just want to ask, how do you do it?
Yeah. So I've been good tonight. So we just went and had dinner. I've been good. I think I was on my phone once during dinner. But generally I'm not that good in the presence of people. I'm constantly on my phone. I'm constantly, and especially during daily, and I'm trying to get better at it now. And that's one of my commitments to myself and my family, and my friends, is like, get better at not being on my phone. But I mean, it's literally sitting right here right now. I'll put it over there.
You just threw it back on the couch.
I just check it a lot, and I care a lot. And that does come from a Gary Vaynerchuk-esque idea of value your audience. If these people are trying to engage with you, engage back with them.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's part of what it means to be building what we're trying to build. So yeah, that's how I do it, is I look at it a lot. I think I spend I got screen time on the iPhone. I think I spend like 6.5 hours a day looking at my phone.
I didn't know that was a thing. I have to look at that.
Yeah.
I like the amount of feedback that you can get from that kind of thing is like, I want to get that.
Although, crazily enough, every week, like on Sunday, it gives me a report. And every week it's like, you did better. Like, you looked at your phone less this week. And I think that Apple's just trying to like trick us into thinking that we're doing a better job, because I'm like, how could it constantly be going down? Anyway, yeah, go for it.
So with daily, especially for how long you were doing it and the kind of attention and you getting pulled away.
Yeah.
How was it with the family?
The biggest thing with the family, so it wasn't always great, but there was a lot of, everyone's doing a good job. Like, Cody's doing a good job throughout the year. In the beginning, it was very regimented, where it was like, I had a set schedule of, I'll spend this time with the family, this time at work, this time editing videos, this time working out. I just had like a set schedule. So I knew it's family time, like, put everything else away, get it out of your mind, and just spend family time. Then when stuff started to blow up near the middle of the year, I started spending a lot more time just thinking about, okay, how do I capitalize on this opportunity to really roll this into something bigger, something that could replace my income, something that could really be built into a foundation for something else bigger, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of with the blessing of Amber, my wife, I took some creative liberty with my time with my family, and still have my phone on, and still, in between conversations and stuff, would be engaging with my phone, engaging with the audience, and thinking and ideas and all that sort of thing. But Amber was just kind of cool with it, because she was like, it is what it is. There's an end in sight. Like, this isn't going to be forever. At the time, she didn't know that I was going to be stopping I didn't know I was going to be stopping daily in 2019. But it felt like for this time, Cody needs to be like 90% in on YouTube building. And then at some time in the future, it will stop, and he'll come back and start doing a better job of kind of separating the worlds, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was maybe July through November. I would spend a lot of time and like try my best to be engaged family, try my best to be engaged friends, but still very YouTube focused. And then December, I think I started to pull back a little bit from focus on YouTube and try to focus on, with the holidays coming, just being around. Yeah. And then now I'm in the same place where, I'm more I don't know that I'm doing a better job, but I'm more cognizant of when I'm doing a bad job.
Yeah. That's a great way of putting it. I bring it up because I have a similar like situation with my wife Sabrina. Like definitely had to have like some hard conversations, but it wasn't. I wasn't aware of it, and then once it was brought to light, I was like, oh man, yeah. I want to be a better husband and better father for sure because my kids are little and I don't want to be like away.
Right.
But for somebody in your situation, I find that it was almost like how you put it. It was like perfect. It's like. Anybody that could see the more that he goes now is going to have a compounding effect
in the future,
later,
right?
Which is,
The crazy thing is that is actually kind of always the case. Like there's compounding interest in like a savings account.
Yeah.
There's compounding interest on effort in anybody's life.
Mm-hmm.
Grinding on, like regardless of whether you're riding a wave, like I was riding a wave after doing the video up in Toronto with Peter McKinnon, and I was riding that wave, and like it was very obvious to everybody that it was like, all right, Cody's got to capitalize on this to try to roll this into something big, right? It was obvious to Amber, it was obvious to everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
The crazy thing is when it's not obvious to everyone else, like if you have it in your head right now, I need to capitalize on this moment in my life because this opportunity that I have in front of me that I can see, this vision that I have is big and I need to capitalize on it right now. There's no waiting. Like in a sense, that's how I started vlogging was that nobody else really saw it, but I saw it and went for it with that sort of ferocity. Like even now, just saying like, it almost sounds like we're talking about taking a break or like, having better balance or prioritizing YouTube and building what I'm trying to build less. But just even like the thought of that freaks me out because I'm like, no, now is the time to capitalize because what I do now will compound into the future and grow and build and be big. So it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard. But look, wait, real quick. I want to show you. I see my phone. Never completely out of reach. Amber just sent me this and she sent it to be sweet. And it is a sweet photo. I almost posted it on Twitter and said, it's take your daughter to work day. It's me lying on my bed. I have my AirPods in. I have my phone in my hand. And with the same hand that I'm holding my phone with, I'm also holding my daughter, Finley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
and
great
like
lighting in that photo.
It's beautiful. It's a great photo, and it's funny to say it's take your daughter to work day, but like,
can you hold it up?
Did he get it?
Whatever.
I could send it to you, but at any rate, it brings tears to my eyes because there's this picture. There's this picture that we have from the olden days of a dad sitting on his lazy boy chair reading the newspaper while the kids play at his feet, right? And it's like the quintessential picture of a disengaged father. And now we're not reading newspapers, we're carrying them around in our pockets, right? And so just like you, I don't want to be that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's time to grind, and it's also time to be a great dad and a great husband.
I think there's something I want to add to that, but I think what you said where it's like when you had segmented things, like I tried that, but stuff starts to bleed in the other one, and then you're like the creative process, you want to get the video done, and you're like, if I spend another day on it, then there's like I need to keep moving on to the next thing and all that type of stuff. But what I was gonna ask with that is your drive. Does it come from your parents or like somebody else that was a mentor to you or an influence to you?
My drive specifically. So my creativity you could trace that back pretty easily to my parents. My dad's a painter and an artist and always has been for my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Drive, I think.
Did you have any other entrepreneurs in your family?
No, but I mean, my dad was an entrepreneur for my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And I lived with my dad since I was 7, it was just my dad and me living together. So that was the life that I knew was small business ownership.
Yeah.
Drive, I think, might have come more from becoming a parent myself and feeling like I gotta do this. Like this is my responsibility. I gotta make money. I need to step up and crush, But actually that was kind of a false start, because like I would get in moods in moods where I would work really hard at CAP or whatever, but I would quickly fall out of them. I really think that the drive for what I did last year came from this feeling that I would get every single time I would start making a video, where I felt like I have a purpose. Like it was this well-defined, you are trying to encourage people to do stuff, like big, important stuff. And that is awesome. And like, it just seemed so clear, and I loved the clarity of it. And so I got addicted to the clarity of it. Like it seemed super clear what needed to be done. And because it was so clear, like so often in business, you're like, should I spend more money on marketing, or should we hire employees, or should we get new gear?
Sounds like busy work.
Well, you don't know. It's not clear exactly the best path forward, but the best path forward on YouTube was so clear, and I loved that. And it was just so easy to just like dive headfirst into it day in and day out, because it seems so clear and so easy. So what's funny is I like before I got on YouTube, so when I was I 32? Like for the first 30 years of my life, no one would ever have said about me, he's driven.
Really? That's an interesting thing. Yeah.
No, and conversely, I mean, I got a lot of those marks in school that were like, shows great potential, like he can do something if he applies himself. That was a lot I would get in school too. Like will be successful if applies self, or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like people could see there was the raw material in there for being able to do something, but I didn't apply myself very much in the first 30 years of my life. And I think that is kind of compounded up until like age 30. And I was like, I got really tired of that being my story. And I was like, all right, it's time to go. It's time to just drive.
You're just like, just hearing you in person is like pumps me up.
Good, man. Good.
If you watch his material, you'll hear a lot of let's get amp, let's do this thing, and all that kind of stuff.
Let's get this thing.
Goals, what do they mean to you? And I'm coming from a mindset of, I just asked this on another podcast, and because I watched this video, and this guy talked about goals, and he has a company where he's going to go to the moon, and he surrounds himself with people that, when he says he's going to go to the moon, everybody that asks him, oh, like, how are you going to get rid of radiation? How are you going to like do this? As opposed to people like, you're going to go to the moon? Like, what? Like, what do goal setting mean? What does that mean to you?
So my goal on YouTube, I might have actually just changed it. I think just the other day I was sitting in the car and I changed it, is 40 million subscribers. Okay. So I'm
so glad that you have a lofty goal. I feel like for my own, I'm just cutting you off. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
but the thing is, like, just change of the year, especially on YouTube, everybody's like, what's your goals and everything?
Yeah.
I'm like, look, I'm just figuring out what's working, what's not working, and especially like all the analytics you get from YouTube. I'm like, I want to keep being on this consistency train and like see this. I just want to be consistent. That's like that's my goal. I don't have like set things, but I don't know if that's too setting the expectations low, but I don't know. But continue with 40 million.
A consistency goal is, so that's a goal that you can actually affect the lead measures. So there's lag measures, which is subscribers, and there's lead measures, which is stuff that you actually do, right? So I'm talking about a lag measure goal, which 40 million subscribers, like I can take action in that direction, but like there's nothing, I can't actually affect a lag measure. No one can actually like see the number of subscribers they have and then do something that makes them get to whatever the number was supposed to be. It's great. What I'm trying to say is it's great to focus on a consistency goal. That's fantastic. Yeah. At the same time, I don't shy away from talking about the lag measures that I want to hit because it just is what it is. My whole goal setting theory comes from a guy called Grant Cardone, which is actually, he was the catalyst, a big catalyst for me getting into daily vlogging when I got into it.
You're going to 10x your growth.
What exactly? Exactly. So his book that really popped is called the 10x rule. And the idea was whatever the goal is, take it, multiply it by 10. And then whatever you think it would take to hit that goal, the amount of effort you think it would take to hit that 10x goal, multiply that effort by 10 is the technical 10x rule. So now we're actually talking about 100x effort is required to hit the goal, your initial goal that you set before you 10x'd it, right? Basically, the premise is it's gonna be harder to do what you wanna do than you think it's gonna be. So apply way more effort than you think is necessary toward that goal in order to hit it, right? That's what I think about goals. I think goals are a great way to shoot for Mars, you know? It's a great way to put something out in front of yourself and say, I'm aiming at that. That's the direction, that's the vision, that's what I see. But I think effort and commitment and discipline toward a goal is 100% where the focus then needs to go.
What about your own habits? And I know they've probably changed since you've been doing daily, but on a day-to-day basis, what's something that's like always there in terms of getting stuff done?
The clarity that came with daily was
setting a deadline
is so beautiful. It's beautiful. It's so clear. It was like video must be uploaded before 12 or 11:59 p.m. You know what I mean? It was like it had to happen every single day. It was this wonderful cycle of must create video. It was so clear. And like there was really no,
everything else was like fell to the wayside to that.
Right. Right. And so now, you know, I have days again now where it's like, yeah, I'm just not feeling it today. You know?
Is it hard? Is it harder for you to create now, not doing it daily?
Yeah. I 100% miss daily. 100%. I mean, no, that's not true. I don't 100% miss daily. I love sleeping more. I love, you know, having more time where I'm not carrying the camera around and can just engage with the world and not have to be thinking about the story I'm crafting. There's a lot of stuff that I love about not being daily, but the clarity, the focus, and kind of the simplicity of making daily videos, I 100% miss that. You know, it was much simpler, but I'm not in pursuit of a simple life. You know what I mean? Like I'm into complexity. I'm into quality and doing stuff that is harder. You know, so in a sense, stopping daily was a big challenge for me to be like, am I capable of creating higher quality content? You know, like, am I actually capable of it? I didn't know. I still don't know. You know what I'm saying? So it was way simpler for me to do daily, and I do miss a lot of it.
This sounds super analogous to a past guest that I had. He's the founder of a restaurant called There. It's There with an ellipses, and they have two restaurants, one in Telluride, Colorado, and one in Denver.
Yeah.
This guy has been to like 50, 100 plus countries in his lifetime, and he was running like a $50 million business by the time he was like 20 something and all this stuff. And after the fact, he was one of those guys that was a nomad. He would pick up and just at the drop of a dime go to some other place. But then when he sat down with he went to Telluride, Colorado, and he's like, "What is this place? This place is beautiful. I want to start a restaurant here." He had a New York lifestyle. Like how we're doing this podcast in New York,
right?
And he sat down in Telluride, and he knew how to do businesses and all that other stuff, but he was always on the move. And now it was in this little local town, and it was a completely different monster, and he couldn't escape by traveling to some other place.
Right.
It was a completely different challenge for him. And after a little bit, it became like he accepted the challenge as that, like,
Mm-hmm.
oh man, this is the challenge now. So then he started growing that and then got it to the point where he founded another restaurant and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds like if you do continue doing 2 a week, then I don't know. I just feel like all of your content for every single one of those 2 videos is just going to be like,
Right.
yeah, really awesome.
Yeah, we'll see, man. I hope I do good stuff.
Can you talk to me about the interaction that you have from the beginning to like now with other people? Like, cause I know personally, like if I were to reach out, like we were talking, like you check your messages, you actually engage with the community that you're building. Talk about what it means to actually make like a one-on-one difference on many people's lives.
It's amazing, dude. It's amazing. I shot the video where I yelled across the street to Casey, "Hey, Casey, do you have a second?" And he shot back. He yelled back, "No."
Mm-hmm.
And that was a video called Quick Chat with Casey Neistat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just shot that video. It was now the next day, still in New York City. It was for a client job, actually, but I was still creating my own vlog. So that day I was creating 2 vlogs, one for the school and one for myself.
That's awesome.
2 days.
Of course you were.
Right. And
because daily isn't enough.
Because daily wasn't enough, right? That's an interesting thing to talk about it as sort of like a drug in that sense, but and needing more to get the same sort of reaction. But we're not there yet. So next day in New York City, had just released that morning the vlog called Quick Chat with Casey Neistat, and got a comment on that video. And it was a woman, and she said she had been following me for a while, and she had been commenting for a while. So I knew this woman. Like I think she was out in California actually. And she was like, "I just want you to know, I made my first piece of jewelry and just launched my online jewelry shop because I've been encouraged by you and your videos."
So true.
And I was in New York City. Where were we? We were in Bloomberg. We're touring Bloomberg. I read that comment and I texted my dad. I was like, I could stop now. I could stop making videos right now. Like that feeling of having encouraged someone and of having kind of completed the mission of like, I want to encourage people to do stuff. I just encouraged someone to start an online jewelry making business. Like, and she told me that it happened. I felt like I could stop, is that one, the power to affect one person, just like, it just blew me away, And I said to myself and to my dad, it was all worth it. Everything was worth it. That was in April. So that was, 4 months into the experiment. And it was every single video was worth it just for that. And then, fast forward another 4 months, and I don't know if it's thousands of people, but it's hundreds of people have been encouraged and inspired and motivated and have actually taken action toward goals, with me as some piece of that, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know how to really talk about it other than it's like a beautiful thing that I'm just so happy to be a part of in people's lives. You know what I mean? I don't like, it doesn't, at some point it obviously stops feeling like that first conversation where the woman had made the business compared to like now, I don't feel like 100 times that feeling that I felt then. Mm-hmm. So that first one was like very powerful, maybe because it was first or something like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, no, it's something that I'm extremely proud and just humbled to be a part of.
Yeah, I'm always crazy about the butterfly effect, especially in your situation, because like obviously when I started doing the YouTube stuff, and then I'm in my edit bay at the Chive, and then I come across your video for one of the first times, and then it was before you had the Peter thing, and I was like, I left a comment, and I was like, holy cow. And like some people say this sometimes, but I watched your video and it was like, there is no reason for you to have like 1,000 subscribers. Yeah. Like, what is this? And you're like, dude, thanks.
Yeah.
And then ever since then, there's like been so many different parts of my past year that have been influenced in some way, shape, or form because of you. Mm-hmm. Like, take for instance, just because of your hustle, you got to meet with Daryl Eves and do all this stuff. And then like just everything that probably came and will come from everything that happened at Vid Summit, like meeting all these people and like, well, will probably happen here in New York. It's just like being in an area with so many like-minded people, it like blew my mind where I was like, oh, you're not on this island making the content.
Yeah, dude.
And it, to have a relationship with somebody over the internet where they're friends, but to me before it was like, oh, how do you like interact with people? But now it's like, oh man, he just made a sweet vid.
Yeah.
I will tangent into, I loved one of your videos where you gave the advice, don't stop using the word so and all right.
Yeah.
And then personally, I don't know if you've said it in a video, but when we were at Vid Summit, you were like, I use the word vid. Instead of video. So now when I'm editing, I always try and remove the word so and all right.
Yeah.
And I never realized how many times when I started just turn the camera on, or even now, so all right.
Yeah.
Do you still say them?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'll start rolling on the camera. All right, so we're going up to New York City. Like legit, it's how I start every single sentence. And so here's what I do. Here's my way around this. Sometimes I leave it in my videos because I want to like punish myself for saying it. Like now I just put that out. The whole world is seeing me say all right so when they all know that I'm completely opposed to saying all right so. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things that I love though about daily videos and just about YouTube in general is it made me cognizant of that stuff. It's public speaking in a different way, but like you become better at public speaking when you start making videos on YouTube. And speaking and motivation, encouragement always been something that I've been super fond of. So to be able to do that more effectively in a live setting or on video now, or a pod, whatever, is fantastic. It's fantastic.
You just dropped the pod instead of saying podcast. It's a pod. That's awesome. I just wanted to drive across that point and talk about it for a couple minutes because if there's anybody that edits out there, start taking notice to the word all right and so. And because of that little tip, it can drive you to making so many better decisions in your edit process. Mm-hmm. Getting back to Vid Summit and I think the interaction with people, one of the best things I think when I was there was the collaboration. And I didn't know what it was to like go make a video and then you go with somebody else and you're like, let's make a video together.
Yeah.
Can you give your idea of what a collab is and how it works?
Yeah, that's a great question. Because similar to the word vlog, there's a lot of different meanings for what a collab is, right? At its very core, it's two people deciding to work together to make something together, at its very core. And when it works well, the audience of the one person gains value that they would not have gained had that other person not been a part of a video, and then vice versa with the other audience of the other person. When it works well, there's some audience transfer where like, people get interested in something that you're doing and now they want to come and follow your journey. And yeah, the other thing is it's fun, it's got to be it's fun to see people that you love interacting with other people that you might come to love or, whatever. And it has to work, now we're getting into like, not what it is, but what it should be. Maybe it has to make sense. Like I, in the beginning, was very open to just collaborating with anybody. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're making videos, we can find something in common. Like, let's talk about it. Yeah. And now I'm much more reserved about who I'm willing to work with. And again, like what I think is going to add value on my channel and what value I can add on their channel. And it's gotta feel right. It's gotta feel right. And so that's how I feel about collabs.
Yeah, there was I think it was either a tweet, Facebook message or something like that, but somebody commented, hey, what would it take to like collab with you? And then I think you had a great answer. It's just like, you just got to make a vid like that makes me want to click to see it. Right. And I was like, no, it's a legit thing.
Right. Yeah. I can't remember that. I get asked that a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, the answer that I prefer to give is, put your face down, grind, make videos.
You added,
make them good.
Yeah, you added that at the
get
end.
a body of work. You know what I'm saying? Get a body of work. Like, let me know who you are, and if I want to collab with you, we'll do it. You know what I'm saying? On the flip side of that is, if I don't want to, that's fine.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, that's nothing against you. It's nothing against me. Like, I just don't want to. I don't want to work with you for whatever reason. You know, and I take that. That's the mentality that I take with everybody that I want to work with.
Yeah.
If they don't want to work with me, that's totally fine. It doesn't mean anything negative about me when someone doesn't see it. You know what I'm saying?
Especially in creating and where I'm at right now, just time is like I respect other people's time, and if they say no, I'm like, I completely like, yeah. If you think it's not worth your time, then sure, like I completely get it, you know,
right? Or I mean, there's just a million things that it could be, you know. There's a million things, and you know, maybe they think it's not worth their time, or maybe they are sick and they need to rest. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe they just are overwhelmed with all the other stuff they're currently doing. Maybe it's just not the right time. All the different things, you know. Having a positive mindset rolling out of any situation where someone tells you no is like a fantastic life skill. You know,
all podcasts, that one little chunk, like, you will succeed at life.
Someone says no and you're still happy and you move forward, you're gonna win.
Great case in point is Casey Neistat's video, and you just make a great video about it.
He said no for a great reason. You know what I mean? He was probably making a video or like running from something at the one place to something at the other. He had his goals, his priorities in mind, and he knew when he needed to say no, even if he wanted to say yes. And I mean, I assume he definitely wanted to say yes, right? but no, that was.
I love your swag. You're so confident.
Even just for the sheer fact that, like, you know, we're all fans over there, standing on the other side of the street. He wants to say hello to his fans. It's not like he doesn't want to say hello to his fans, but he's doing something. He's got a greater goal, a greater purpose in mind for his time right then. And so, for all of us to take that mentality. I love that that's my first video I had that popped, because that's the message, is like, say no more often. I still need to learn from it.
Can you talk about, because I know you made a video about this, but the exact, like, your revenue streams, and as a YouTube creator, how do you make money? Because I feel like when you're at a cocktail party, you're like, so how does this work? How do you do these things?
Right. This is how I make money now. I have a note called "This is how I make money now."
So many people ask you this, or did you write this out just for your own?
So many people ask me. Yeah. And I always forget one of them, and I'm like, let me see if I can remember.
He has a list, people.
I have a list. So first one is speaking, you know, paid speaking engagement. So businesses, running conferences, whatever, I get paid to come and speak. That's number one. Number two is merch, you know, No Small Creator, right?
He's got it right now.
Of course I got it. Then digital products, that's editing tutorials is what I currently do, but in the future that could be LUTs if I ever start color grading stuff.
Which you probably have time to do now.
You would think, but I haven't really. I did color grade my last one, just very subtly, but I liked the effect of it a lot, so I'm gonna have to get better at it. But digital products, brand deals, that's when a company like Shut Out, you know, or Squarespace. I've done one with not Squarespace, Skillshare, brand deal. That's that sort of thing.
Epidemic
sounds. So that's a different one actually. I'm actually doing a brand deal with Epidemic tomorrow. Tomorrow's video is sponsored by Epidemic.
I love how you just said that. Like, tomorrow's video is sponsored by Epidemic on the Passion and Progress podcast.
Boom. So yeah, I've worked with them a lot, but also that goes into affiliate links and ambassador links. So whenever I'm an ambassador for Epidemic Sound, when someone gets a free trial through Epidemic, I get money. I get paid. You know.
I love Epidemic, by the way.
Yeah.
The fact that you can get stems is just mind-blowing.
Stems. That's why I made my video about stems, because it's amazing. Then ad revenue, which is the actual ads, you know, that my channel is playing, straight getting paid from YouTube. Patreon and consulting. So I sell digital products on Patreon, newsletter, just straight up, you can support me on Patreon, and then consulting through Patreon, which is one-on-one YouTube consulting what's your channel doing? What are you thinking about? All that sort of stuff. Just talking through stuff really with people as they decide what to do with YouTube, you know? And the last one's client work. So Epidemic actually hired me to, when I went up to Power Video in Belfast, I made a recap video from the entire week based on the content I'd already captured from my daily vlogs. And they paid me to make a recap from the whole week so that they could put on their channel, and they called it Epidemic Does Power of Video, and that lives on their channel. So that's client work, and what I mean by client work is I make videos for other people.
Awesome. Can you get into what a consultation would look like?
Yeah, I actually just uploaded a full consultation on my YouTube channel because there's nothing mysterious about it. Basically, you got goals for YouTube. I ask you what those goals are ahead of time, and then we tried to hit those goals for our consultation, 4 of them in every like normally they're more like 30 to 45 minutes. I did just have one that was like an hour and 10 minutes. They're not time-based, they're goal-based. So please review my channel trailer. Please review my channel in whole. I'm thinking about picking this niche. What do you think about that? And what sort of videos could I make? Like, let's brainstorm video ideas together. Just 4 things you want to hit. We go through those 4 things, and then we're done.
Yeah, and I'm assuming you're quite the authority in this coming hot off just doing a whole year's worth of all that stuff.
Right. I mean, authority is one way to put it. I have an opinion about most things, right? But I'm very straightforward that, like, look, nobody knows this stuff for sure, you know? And the fact that I saw some success over 2018 doesn't mean that I'm right moving forward, right? So it's really brainstorming. Like, it is kind of like therapy, in that it's not so much that I'm giving answers. I'm asking questions and just thinking through your situation the way that I would think about it, and then you can take it or leave it. But yeah, I really enjoy them, you know?
And not only that, but you also post videos of you getting consultation on your channel as well.
Yeah, I did that one with Brandon about analytics.
Yeah, it was pretty legit. I was like, oh, I'll have to try this.
Yeah.
And then I think somebody posted in the group like, hey, it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's awesome. What I like about that kind of thing is teaching people and giving their opinion of what you think might work, and you actually get to see what is working, what's not working. Do you find yourself being a better creator from that perspective?
Yeah, so an area where I definitely see it is with thumbnails. Like, when you look at somebody else's thumbnails and they're horrible, it's easy to tell that they're not going to work, right? Right?
Yeah.
But when you look at your own, you're just kind of like, yeah, maybe that'll work. Like, when I'm making a video, I'm like, I think that's a good thumbnail. You know what I mean? Like, you're kind of blind.
Oh, it's so true, because like when I got to the point where I was like texting thumbnails to like my family, and like, which one would you click?
Which one would you click? Yeah, and we do that on Twitter sometimes too. It's like, which thumbnail do you like better? Which I think is a great idea, by the way.
Yeah.
But
A/B testing it before the fact. And the other thing about it is it also creates
familiarity with it. If one of my fans or friends sees it on Twitter, and then later on they see it on YouTube, because of the familiarity, they'll have more of it. Like, you like songs that you've heard. The first time you hear a song, you might think it sounds really weird, and then 10 times later, you're like, this is my favorite song, right? So building that familiarity is another helpful reason to post a thumbnail on Twitter before putting it on YouTube. But yeah, so I see it there, titling, descriptions, tags, like telling people over and over again, make better titles, make more clickable thumbnails, write a little blog post about your video before you press publish, makes me want to do it. You know, I want to practice what I'm preaching, right?
Mm-hmm. With that feedback, what's your mentality on feedback? I'll give you this example. I had one of my podcasts pop off on Reddit. Yeah. And it was right when I was starting to build my website on Squarespace, sponsored by Squarespace. But after it popped off on Reddit, this is a whole community of people that are unfamiliar who I am or everything. And then instead of talking about the actual video, they were talking about the way the website looked. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like,
Yeah.
and they were pretty like rugged. And I like, some of the people were like, well, I mean, I guess that looked okay. But I was like, no, this is the stuff that I want to know, like to make this look better. Please keep giving me feedback about this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
How does feedback look to you?
I've restricted my circle of who I take feedback from.
I gotcha.
So obviously, like if Peter McKinnon tells me to do something, that's a strong do it. You know what I'm saying?
That's not a hard pass.
right. It's the opposite of a hard pass, right? Same thing with Jesse. Some of the people that I've worked with who have become and continue to be very successful on YouTube. I'll take advice from them very quickly. But in terms of just commenters, like the people on Reddit who are critiquing your Squarespace thing, I just always remember I don't always know what I'm talking about, and neither do any of these people. You know what I'm saying? Like if there's something you can draw from a comment, either negative or positive, by all means, draw it. But just because someone did a good job saying something that infiltrated its way into your brain and it sounds legit, doesn't mean that it is. You know what I'm saying? So there's people who are great speakers who know nothing, or great writers who know nothing, or think they know something or whatever. So just... There's so much to be said for you have a feeling in your gut. It could be wrong, which is totally fine, but I would rather be wrong listening to my own gut feeling than be wrong listening to somebody else's gut feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think from my perspective, it was I don't know anything about web design. Right. And I was like, these are people trying to watch this on their computer. And it was like, thumbnails were like super huge. And I was like, no, this is like, these are problems. Or there was another guy I interviewed and he talked about removing the word problem from your vocabulary. So anytime I say it, I'm like, challenge. These are challenges to overcome.
Yeah.
But as we start to wrap this up, there's two questions I always ask everybody.
We're just getting started, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I could keep going, but I do appreciate.
We do appreciate your time.
I was gonna say, I was like, a lot of people, I appreciate your time. Why do you do what you do?
It's purpose, man. It's purpose for me. I found so much purpose in trying to lead the way of saying, look, we've got value, we've got potential inside of us. Let's get it out in the world. Let's not leave this world with the potential just left inside of us. That's like,
it's just an embodiment of it too.
The graveyard is the place where all the potential lies. Think of all the potential inside of a graveyard, right? That's not mine. I can't remember his name. Motivational speaker that I heard once said that. Yeah. But there's so much potential in the graveyard. And I just, when I'm gone, I want it to be all out there in the world. And that's what it is for me, man.
And then to anybody that wants to start, in this case, most of the time I say their career, but in this case, if they want to start YouTube, from where they, I guess where you were a year ago and some change, to now, what would you tell them? What advice would you give them to get to where you're at now?
It's gonna take time, and it's probably not gonna work.
Bam! And my gosh,
if you can get cool with that, with the idea that it's going to take a lot of time, years, right? Years. And it's probably not going to work. If you can laugh at that statement, then you're probably going to make it. Right?
As you're laughing.
But what I mean by that is you got to think of it as the same way I think of it. I think of it like this right now. If this doesn't work, what am I learning? What will I do next? What skills have I acquired? How am I growing? What could I continue to do if my channel gets deleted tomorrow and I can't get it back? You know what I'm saying? Think about it in terms of, hope for the best, but be ready for the worst. Mm-hmm. Think about all the stuff that you'll learn as a result of starting a YouTube channel, creating videos, learning how to speak, learning how to drive engagement, learning how to drive retention, learning how to communicate with people that you idolized as though they're peers, learning how, like, I used to sweat when I'd walk into a room with someone that I knew made $20,000 more than I made a year. I used to sweat.
Really?
It used to freak me out to just be around people who I looked up to. Money being one of the things, fame, whatever it is, right? Now, I've, because of YouTube, been put into so many situations with people that I idolize, for lack of a better word, but seeing them as peers and treating them as, I respect you, I respect what you've done, but I'm just amped to hang out with you, and this is a fun time. You know, like my whole physiology is that
Your
the
persona?
word?
Or
My whole,
what?
just like my body. I'm talking about my heart rate and like my sweat glands and all this stuff doesn't freak out when I meet somebody who I really like or really look up to. And that is a huge, everyone needs to cultivate that skill in them, because there's no small creator, baby. Come on.
Look at that placement. That was great. I wish there was some button that I could hit with like theme music, like there's no small creator. Boom, boom,
Epidemic sound.
Yeah. Where can people find you?
Main place, my pillar content lives on YouTube. That is youtube.com/RCW Ninja. I'm just going back to my old. I made that in college. And I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, mine's Goop stuff.
You could also just Google Cody Wanner. I'm the whole first page on Google, which is a fantastic thing. My YouTube's right up on top. So that's the best place to find me. Twitter @Cody Wanner, Instagram @Cody Wanner, CodyWanner.com, any of those places.
Love it. I love how you have one single thing across all the things.
Yeah, well, actually on YouTube, it's youtube.com/rCodyWanner.
Mm-hmm.
I
thought you dropped the R.
I dropped the R from that. Like when you click on that, when you go there, it'll just say Cody Wanner and show my profile photo.
Mm-hmm.
But like my URL has an R in it because /Cody Wanner was taken when I went to change it at the beginning of 2018.
There you go. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, dude.
Until next time, live that life of abundance, and I'll see you guys on the next one.